Hey everybody, welcome to the Dad Challenge Podcast. My name is Dad. Today we're talking about Matt and Abby. She interviews him. People are like, you need to cover this. And so we're going to cover it. We're going to talk about it. We're snark on him. I'm sure he's got a bunch of rings on. Really short shorts. But the last time I did this video, I kind of had a little bit surprised with Abby. I'm like, oh, not so bad. She actually said the things I wanted to see. Most people don't say as influencers. Like, no one wants to hear about us. Like, we're rich. No one wants to hear that we have problems. It was actually kind of eye-opening. So it'd be interesting to see this one, I guess, because people want me to cover it. So we're going to cover it because that's what we do here on the DCP. So let's go. So these people, you know, as I've been covering them for the most part, not too bad. I think they have made a choice. I'm not sure if they talk about it in here, to maybe stop sharing or oversharing their kid. I hope that sticks with the new baby. Here's what I'm gonna say about that. I don't think that they're gonna forego this huge paycheck that's about to come with like the birth of their child and the internet and stuff like that. They're gonna do name drops. They're gonna do everything else. They're gonna do all that stuff, and they're gonna do what's in my bag. I'm sure they already have. But if they don't show this new baby or show the name and everything else, kudos. But they're gonna be saying the name. They're gonna be saying everything. If they don't show, that's okay. That's great. It's good, but it's just not as good as not sharing this kid at all. And if they were smart, they would take off all their old videos of their other child. Because you're gonna have this one child that has like the first half of their toddlerhood on the internet, and the other one's gonna be like a ghost on the internet, right? Just kick the other kids off. And my promise stands. When you take all of your content off about your children on all of your platforms, I will remove my videos about you that are calling you out for this stuff. I will. I've yet to have to do that. I might have to do that for 8 Passengers though, because something went down. They might have deleted their channel, but we'll see about the other ones, TikToks and all that stuff. We got to see what's going on with that. But if 8 Passengers has decided to do that, then I'm going to take my 8 Passengers videos down. I promise you that. So anyway, without further ado, let's get to this snarking. Oh, and I love it because they have their timestamps, so I'll be looking up. So what's his biggest weakness? 315. Let's go. So we got, here are the questions. What's your husband's biggest weakness? We keep mispronouncing Taylor Lautner's name. I don't know who that is. Is that the guy from Twilight? Is that the guy? My husband wrote me a love song, is too embarrassed to release it. Asking my husband what his favorite piece of clothing that I wear is. That's stupid. Then they do an ad. Then does Matt have a middle child syndrome? Matt Howard had a tumor in his spine. Holy smokes. Matt Howard, I'm being bullied in high school. We'll talk about that because that will very much have a lot to say about exploiting children. Almost broke up with Abby, confronting my husband and becoming a dad. We removed our children from okay, they do talk about it. Okay, good. Awesome. So we'll skim over the other ones. Let's go with my husband wrote me a love song. I gotta hear this thing. This guy was Broadway, right? So he's probably gotta have some talent. There's no way he doesn't have any talent if he was Broadway. Broadway people have trained vocal. I wish I could sing like Broadway, right? But I wish I could sing like the way I sing now, plus add Broadway to it, not just Broadway. Because Broadway's fine for Broadway, but that's all it's good for. But it's also, you're super talented if you can do it. Where's the song?
What's one thing people don't know?
Oh,
6 months. Like people don't know about you.
Oh, here we go.
Gosh, we share a lot, so I don't really.
Yeah, you do.
Oh.
I don't really know. Probably that I like to sing. Probably that I love music and I'd like to make music. That's something that I'm.
I feel like a lot of people don't know that you sing.
Yeah, it's something that I want to start putting out. Like,
do that. Make music then. Do that. Don't exploit children. You guys, I've said this about Matt and Abby. Of the ones I cover, they're not the least boring. I mean, they're not funny, not really. They're a little bit more engaging than most, especially JD vlogs. And Della vlogs is garbage too. But they're of the new breed of that I'm covering, they're the most polished, if that's anything, right? They're not the worst. They're not the best, but they're not the worst. Anyway, do that. Pursue music. You have a major following right now. If music was always something you wanted to pursue it. You have a big following. I'm starting to grow a following, and I'm like this close to like taking a band on the road because I could probably put 100 butts in a seat somewhere at a show. I would love to do that. Like, that would be the greatest thing ever. So do that, dude. Go for it. I'll never diminish somebody's ability to play music and do things like that if you're good at it. If you're like, but I also won't lie to you if you suck at it. Because even what's his name from Van Clan, that guy's talented. And I said that. I didn't make fun of him. Some people probably shouldn't write music or whatever, you know. Some people are just think they're good and they're not. But if music is something that you love, rarely will you find me saying you shouldn't do that. Even if you're decent at it or you're not even good at it at all, always pursue music, okay? Because music is good for your soul, okay? Unless you're doing music like Ice Spice, then don't do music, okay? That's one thing. But like, pursue music. I'm just joking about the other people. If you love music and it's in your soul, pursue it even if you're not good at it. So a lot of people, I think, were sending me this because they want me to hear his song and see if he's any good and laugh at it and stuff like that. I'm a very mediocre musician and singer. If a terrible singer, mediocre guitar player. Okay, I have no discernible abilities that's really going to take me to the next level, right? So I team up with really good musicians and stuff like that. And my wife, who is probably the best singer I know, is my favorite singer anyway. I don't care what anybody says. On level with very, very professional singers. Like, she is very talented. She's better. My wife can tell if someone's good or not. That's why I don't really impress my wife when it comes to singing and playing guitar. She's just like, okay, I'm better than you. She would never say that, but it's not something that's like, you know, when some people are like, I wish I had a guy that could sing to me in guitar and I could fall asleep and stuff. They love that. But if you have someone who's more talented than you, they don't give a shit, right? They're like, yeah, you're okay, I guess. I'm better. But anyway, all that to say, sure, I'll listen to a song.
I know I haven't really released music at all in the time that we've done social media.
Can I tell them?
You can tell them.
Wait, really?
I guess you can tell them.
Why wouldn't you? It's on Spotify for everybody to hear.
I don't know.
So Matt, little story here. Matt, when we were dating for 6 months, was it?
Yeah, it was 6 months.
Wrote me a song, and I still remember that night. We were in the living room of my parents' house, right? Mm-hmm. It was
What were you doing?
December.
Yeah.
Boners under pillows.
And
Anybody who's a Christian knows what I just said is a thing. Boners under pillows. You know what I'm saying, right? You know, because y'all hang out as friend groups. Y'all go to someone's house for a movie, right? There's always that one parent's like, bring all the kids over here. We got popcorn. And there's that really cool mom, and everybody always went to their house. Okay? If you're ever in a Christian setting and a dude has a pillow in his lap, I'm not kidding. Just saying. Just saying.
And I think my parents were there too when you first sang it. But he sang me this song that he wrote me himself and played the guitar. And it was so special and so beautiful. And then recently, Matt actually had that song produced. And now it's on Spotify, but he literally never told anybody.
Well, okay.
Why did they put it on Spotify then? They're telling everybody now. It's okay, so here it is. So it's very telling. I know this is a lot of people are like, they wish they had something, but then when it actually happens to you, because I've written my wife many songs, right? Too. Here and there, right? That's how artiste guys express their emotions through music, especially if you're a musician, right? Music is a very, very universal language. But like, I honestly, believe me when I tell you this, unless you're in the super duper cheesiest relationship ever, it's actually not, it's pretty cringy. I did it to wife and she cried, and there are moments, but if that's a private moment, it's a private moment. But people want me to hear it, the thing is I can listen to it for 2 seconds, I'll get copyright striked. But I'll tell you right off the top, I can listen to this thing for 15 seconds to tell you if it's any good. Okay, the production's magnificent. You paid a lot of money for that production. It's really, really well done. Now, people say we're dating. It's really weird because it's on the nose type of lyrics. It's meant for her, and so it's meant to be private for her. That's what it was. The production is great. The song itself is like, his voice is good. The guy can sing. I don't think it's cringy. I think if you want to pursue that, go pursue that damn thing. Go for it. You got a massive following. Imagine you got yourself a band together and just win it. I'm not doing like super originals. I got a bunch of originals, but I want to cover, like, I want to do the dad bod band. Okay. And I think it will be awesome. It's pure nostalgia. That's what it would be. And it would be so much fun because, man, my boys and I, we know how to rock. So I'm just saying, I know people want me to throw them under the bus and like laugh at it, but you guys be real. That song is like, let's be real. The production is hot. His voice is decent. I mean, the production helps that. I'd like to hear him sing it without any auto-tune or everything. Then we can be the judge of all that. But again, I'm not that good. All my music on Spotify, if you go to Hearts and Stereo, that shit's produced within an inch of its life too. So again, there's one thing that I won't really throw under the bus is people who try to play music, because I think that's something everybody should try to do because it is really, really, really nice. Stop exploiting your kids and pursue music instead. Or maybe back to Broadway. You got a big platform, you can use it, cause you just wanna be famous anyway. It's really not about anything but you, man. So just make it about you, man. Everybody would be way happier, including happier. So make it all about you. It's simple. Matt wants like the fame and he wants the money and he wants to do all these things. So go take it, buddy. Let your family be normal and you go pursue that. That would be great. Mr. Beast does it. Everybody, lots of guys do that. Go do that, man. You've got the drive for it. We already know Abby doesn't want to do it. You know you don't want to exploit your kids anymore. So boom, let's go. You're onto it, buddy. And I'll take all my videos down. You just move on. I'll let you open for my band. How about that? Anyway, that's it. So let's move on a little bit. So let's go to 2917 because it's talking about being bullied in high school. 29.
Were you ever bullied at any time in your life?
You know, it's weird. I think when I was,
Not really. Maybe like really young, like when it didn't really matter when everybody was bullied. But truthfully, this type of guy who comes out of school like this, he's tall, he's handsome, he's got personality, probably was bullied for being in theater because, theater kids were probably a lot more bullied than they are now. But my gut is he wasn't really bullied.
Initially I would say no, but I think when I really think to the definition of what it means, I would actually say yes. And
what?
I don't know.
I would agree.
Yeah.
How? Explain further.
There was actually somebody in my life in my senior year of high school that actually told me to my face in front of people too, which was actually like shocking because you don't realize it's happening when it happens. But there's someone in high school that literally told me to my face to kill myself.
Okay, so he's experienced one person that did one thing in his senior year of high school. So yeah, someone said something mean to you, inappropriate. Let's be real, that's not bullying. Let's talk about bullying in high school and school in general. Someone who was me, incredibly bullied from literally grade 3 onwards. But because we didn't have a lot, I definitely got bullied. Being poor was a huge one, right? I remember one of the big times I got bullied was grade 7 was like probably the worst. We were all started, even though I had that really good teacher. If you go hear my story, go watch my story, okay? I had a math teacher push me into a locker, bullied by my grade 6 teacher, Mr. Wilson, because I didn't have cool shoes. And a teacher did that, right? There is being bullied and there's someone saying mean things to you. I was stabbed with a pencil in grade 8. That shit's still in my leg. I was like absolutely destroyed. I hated school. It was the worst time of my life. So I know what he's trying to say, and he's trying to score a little bit of a victim point. And I hate victim points because as I've come through life, that's my past. I can just speak on it because it happened to me, but this isn't bullying. Okay, let's be real. There is real bullying, and there's like, this guy said something mean.
And
I don't know. I think there's just some people that have a lot of stuff going on in their lives, and they feel the need to lash out. And I do think hurt people. But
here we go. This is race. Now they're probably speaking about me a little bit here because I bully them. Now, the difference is that you exploit children, so you deserve it. Anyway, all that to say is that when they say that it's always the hurt people, it is. There's a lot of bullies out there who grew up in terrible homes. But it doesn't make it right or doesn't justify the fact that they did that to people at school. And there was lots of shit that went down. I wasn't the only person bullied. Lots of people were bullied, right? I did, obviously, and if you hear my story, I considered ending things, right? No one ever went to bat for me. I didn't have any justice as I was a kid, which is why I'm a very big proponent for justice these days, because not getting any justice growing up, you really, really, really hate injustice. No matter what it comes from. In this case, it's obviously these injustice of these kids being exploited on the internet, and so that's one of my biggest things I fight for. But like, also any injustice. I hate unfairness in anything. It bothers me. Bullying for real though, I wanted to cover this when he's talking about it because again, these kids that are on the internet, I hope that they do make that choice to eliminate everything. Even if now they don't eliminate the old videos of their babies and stuff, I think that's pretty safe. I don't think you're going to be bullied for being a toddler on YouTube. I don't think so. I mean, bullies will find anything to come at you for, but at the same time, it's better to be safe than sorry. It's less about the bullying now, but I think the bullying more comes into play when these kids enter into school while they are on vlogs, right? And that happens a lot. We've heard a lot of vlogging parents talk about how their kids are bullied. I mean, it's I keep forgetting the name. Nelson's, I think they are. They have a kid that half their kids don't go to school because they're all bullied. And those kids have they're millionaires. So being wealthy and having everything really doesn't help. Bullies will find a way to bully you. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. I mean, hopefully they stick to their guns and they take their kids off and they just go live a normal life, and Matt pursues his fame that he wants, right? And that's good. But bullying is a big deal. So if he says he was bullying, yeah, yes, I understand that. He doesn't want that to happen to his children.
I also do think that there are just some people in the world, just like you have some people who are by nature really, really good, and for whatever reason they're just amazing and they're so kind and they're always so nice to people.
Thanks.
I think you also have people on the flip side, right? I think I kind of view it like a bell curve. If you take a statistics course, most of the people rely in the middle, right? Like they do good and bad, and then you got those outliers. There's not as many of them, but you got the really good people that are just, for whatever reason, incredible, amazing, nice humans, and then you have the reverse of that.
It's called the 10-80-10 principle, right? It's going to be 10% of people who are super awesome, amazing, incredible, like just Lovely, awesome. That's mostly you. Then again, there's normal, regular people who do. He's exactly right. Splits down the middle, and then there's 10 on the other side. Now, what he's going to say is that I'm on the other side, right? I'm the 10 of the hate, vitriol, blah blah blah. But man, I think if any of even my haters, I think if you actually got to know me, if you understood who I really was in real life and saw how I interacted with people and how I really was, you'd see something different. You want to see what you want to see, right? You guys get mad at me because I made fun of someone's thumb or something. You have a club thumb, and you're like, "Oh my God, he hates me." No, I hate child exploiters. And in my opinion, that makes me virtuous. I'm not virtuous in lots of things, but this, I'm right. This, I'm morally correct. In this, I might not always be right about my approach to it, for sure. And I've had to apologize for certain things I've gone too far, for sure. I'm not the sharpest tool in the shed all times, right? That's not an excuse to make mistakes though, right? And so, but in the end, I think I kind of sit right in the middle, right? In the end, but there are certain things we all fight for. I think Matt is alluding to me being that guy. I wonder if they watched my last show though, because I actually was very nice to Abby and my mind kind of changed. So it'd be interesting to see. Okay, so 44, 55 is they start talking about this important topic. Let's get to it. So this one's called "We Removed Our Children from Social Media."
Feel about your current line of work?
Current line of work. It's weird. Like our industry is kind of like the Wild West. It's almost
that's true.
Like in a way, creators are just figuring it out for themselves, and we're in a weird spot because like a lot of our content is our life. Mm-hmm. So it's like
doesn't have to be though. Doesn't. I mean, you can, but it doesn't have to be about your kids. It can still be about your life. But they'll say, well, we have kids and that's our life and that's what we're going to do. No, you don't have to. You don't have to. You can talk about being parents and all the struggles and glories that come with it without mentioning anything. Even if you mention it, fine. You don't have to show the kids. You can still talk about all that same stuff without showing them. That's what I've always talked about.
Like, what do we show? What do we not show? Mm-hmm. How do I make sure that I'm doing all my duties and roles as a husband and spouse?
Protector is one of the main ones. And how are you doing that?
But then also making sure that I'm doing my job as a creative. Like it's a weird thing, and it's the Wild West, and there's no...
Let's go back. He's like, how do I protect my kids but also do my job as a creative? Well, let me tell you how you do that. Priorities. And you set your priorities. What's your highest priority? Is to protect your children? Then cool. Then the being creative comes second, and everything that you do as a creative comes second to protecting your children, which means that everything you do now needs to put in consideration how you protect your children more. Right? That's it. That's simple. That's the answer, and he knows that's the answer. But he's like, well, how do I do that? Make money? That's how you do it. It sounds like, because people have been sending me messages, they don't show their kids anymore, right? They blank them or whatever. That's great. But he's still struggling with it. And that's the answer, bro. That's it right there. You're a father, and you're this genuine dude who loves your children. And I believe that, right? And so because you've taken you've made this decision, regardless of how you say it happened, to protect your kids. Whether it's me who made you think about that and change your mind on that, great. If not, I don't care. Whether it's Mom Uncharted or these articles you're reading, I don't care how it happened. I'm glad it happened. But that means you take it seriously. Okay? And so that's it. That's your answer. How do I navigate being a protective father, which I should be, and creating content? Simple. Prioritize.
Rule book. And laws and regulations that have been in place now for Hollywood are starting to try to catch up to social media, and so it's an interesting space to be in.
Good, but it won't do anything. People will find loopholes.
Yeah, a good point you brought up is.
But I also don't want creators out there, when the laws do change, that reflects more about Hollywood, like Coogan laws and education laws. I also don't want people like, see, they got the law in place, all good now. No, I don't think so. I mean, that's one decent thing that might happen and will protect the kids' money. That's great. But it doesn't still protect their future and their privacy. It doesn't address the concerns of the real life things that you are showing on the internet. So that won't be an answer and an end all. When these laws do come into place, it's not going to make it better. I promise you that. A little better, again, for the protection of the kids, but not better overall. When laws come and say, you're not even allowed to post children if you're making money on them, that's the law that I want to see happen. Like, it's going to be really hard to do that, but that's the law I want to see. Like, advertisers are not allowed to use children who are exploited for content, right? And not allowed to pay for that. YouTube is not allowed to monetize videos of children under the age of 18 in it. Stuff like that. Those are the type of laws I want to see.
In the realm of social media, it's largely up to the creators to set their own boundaries.
Yeah, totally.
What is, if you have one or two examples of like hard and fast boundaries you've had to establish?
There's been some big changes this year for us.
Mm-hmm.
We slowly were, making a lot of content around being parents, and that's totally fine. But I think for me, what I realized is I as a creative, because I want to do the best job I can at anything that I do.
But your best job should be first towards your family, not at creative. And he says, look, I want to be best everything. I understand that. I even respect that. But your best job should be towards your family because they're your legacy. This is your legacy too. I get that. But this legacy won't live on. Like, this is YouTube. People aren't going to be like, 50 years from now, Matt and Abby's podcast is in the history books. No one gives a shit that, no one cares. But your legacy as a father, that will lead on. That's your lineage, bloodline continuing.
And so when it comes to making content with my family, again, I want to be the best, right? I want to figure out the way that I can do the best job at this. And so there's a conflict of interest there, I think, for me when it comes to showing my life and my kids and everything on social media, because doing the best job as a dad doesn't always correlate to doing the best on social media.
Boom. That's it. He got it. He nailed it. These people are impressing me more and more. I love it. At least they're being honest. Now I want to see action, right? And other people following what they're saying. Like, these guys are actually, they have their pulse on what's going on. Like, they're not stupid, okay? They're not funny either, but they're not stupid. Right? He's obviously telling you something. He knows. But he will platform on this podcast people who do that without any problem. So there is a conflict there too.
And doing the best on social media doesn't always correlate to doing the best job as a dad. And so for us, I think we had to really evaluate that and take a step back. And we made some decisions to kind of limit how much content we showed of our son. And we made some changes there. And I think doing this podcast was huge too, because now we're able to create content, which luckily, the viewers are, the listeners are enjoying. And
for a while. It won't probably continue.
Enjoying doing. It's content that's separate though from like showing our life.
You know what? In all honesty, I hope it does. I hope that this other alternative content that doesn't include your children takes off and makes you millions and millions and millions, because that's it. You've made a choice. And this is all I've ever asked. I don't want people to be canceled. Okay? Certain people maybe, right? Just pivot away from your kids on the internet. That's it. And these people are proven to you it can happen. It does take work to pivot. It really does. But pivot. Pivot away from your kids on the internet, please, because it can happen.
I think it can be a little bit intrusive when you have a camera with you 24/7 showing everything you do. I'm glad that we recognize those changes that need to be made and we're able to implement those, because again, this is the Wild West. There's no rule book, and like even reality TV is a very new thing. I think
it's 25 years old. So
I was just watching a documentary about the Duggars, and like, I didn't even realize how recent that was. I thought reality TV has been going on for a very long time, but
25 years is a long time.
It really hasn't, and so all of this is very new.
No. So them watching the Duggars saying, "Oh, we don't want to do this," and hopefully that is, it's the timing is odd that when my video came out, then they changed it, and I know that's about taking credit and stuff like that, and I know they don't want to give me credit for that type of stuff, but I am the loudest voice on YouTube against the exploitation of children when it comes to family vlogging. There's no argument to be made there. I'm the loudest voice. I'm most consistent at it. I talk about it every single day, almost. I do pivot to other things, but there's just no denying it. And I get it. But at the same time, people don't want to give me the kudos for it, right? And I get that. But I'm taking the kudos for this one. You're welcome.
Is there
Your kids will thank me.
One thing that really inspired that decision to be made? Obviously, it was a decision we made together.
Yeah.
But was there any one thing?
What do you mean?
That was like, okay, this is not in the best interest of our son.
I need to know, yeah. And what's the one thing? And I don't think it's one thing. But she's sort of like talking to both sides of her mouth here, because she did a TikTok or a short where she talked about this guy at the park and being a creepy old dude. But maybe that was a pivot point for her, and people commenting like, that you put your kids on the internet for lots of creepy old dudes to watch, and you can't tell if they are being watched. That was the big outcome from that. And maybe that was her big pivotal point. But you see a lot of creators do this. They use these moments in the public. Our Life did it where she said her kid was being kidnapped, possibly. There was one went to jail because she lied about her kids, the attempted kidnapping of her children. They'll use this content because it's just part of their life, and they just think, but they don't realize the ramifications. Like, okay, well, yeah, this might have happened to you, but you also put your kids in danger online, in 10 times more danger.
Oh, you know what was actually really good? Watching The Truman Show. It was just such an interesting movie because
The Truman Show. Shut up.
I'm like, oh my
Well,
gosh,
he wasn't aware of it.
this is
'cause
social
he
media.
Couldn't agree
the
to
movie
it.
was made before like social media existed,
Yeah.
from my understanding. And
Oh,
so,
for sure. It was like
But it was like in the height, reality television was like peaking.
in the 90s.
And so I was just thinking about that, like, wow, I think we can learn a lot from this.
Well, she was right though. Truman Show, he didn't know he was on TV. And I mean, that's sort of the point for the first half of your child's life who has no memories of this, who can't make choices, who can't vocalize that they want to be on or not, right? So I get that, because that's basically Truman Show for the first half of their life. But the second half of life is not Truman Show. When they are aware of it, when they are coerced into making content, when they're coerced into doing it because the parents need content. And we've heard this from so many of these kids who've done these questions on Reddit and stuff. Yeah, I've been forced to do this. My parents threatened that we wouldn't have this life if I don't do this. That does happen. So there is a breaking point, right? When a kid finally becomes cognizant of what's happening, where you have to like weigh the pros and the cons.
So being a content creator, you see feedback from people that are complete strangers to you all the time. What is something?
Are you against that or something? Like you say that like everybody's a complete stranger to you. Good comments and bad comments. Why are you throwing shade? They pay you. It's like they're surprised that you get comments from people from showing like that's one thing I don't like about what she just said there. You know, you get strangers comment. You want that you thrive. You get paid because of that. So get wrecked.
That like makes you feel the most misunderstood.
Ooh, you know, it's so funny because I saw a comment the other day that was like, wow, Abby really needs to do more as a mom for her kids or something. It was just like it was just like some video. I think I was like just showing myself like being a dad or like cleaning or something. And
you probably clickbaited like single dad for 36 hours or some shit. That's what it was, right? You're not a single dad for 36 hours. You're just a dad. So stop doing that. You're making it worse for all us other dads.
It's just, I just find it so, I think it's...
Why put that? That bugs me. Don't put the word single dad. Are you single? Then why would you write it in there? Okay, stop.
People misunderstand you when they see a snippet of your life.
Right.
And they just like make a judgment on that. And I think...
Okay, so stop this, okay? So you all know that people are going to make comments and judgments on snippets of your life. But where did they get that snippet from? You. You curate that snippet. So why are you surprised when people comment on the snippet? Stop saying this. I hate these creators who always are like, oh, they only see 15 seconds. You showed us that 15 seconds. So it's like you're surprised that we're commenting on this thing you showed us? I never understood that logic.
Humans do that naturally, right? I think like it's a survival tactic. It's something that we do. We have to make assumptions in life to just keep going forward. We can't fully understand
What will never make sense to me is publicly commenting it. But
that's true.
A whole different...
That's true. Exactly. But people do it, right?
Yeah.
Some people
Wait,
like
what
to
did
be
she
vocal
say?
with their thoughts or something. It was just like it was just like some video. I think I was like just showing myself like being a dad or like cleaning or something, and it's just I just find it so. I think it's people misunderstand you when they see a snippet of your life,
right?
And they just like make a judgment on that. And I think humans do that naturally, right? I think like it's a survival tactic. It's something that we do. We have to make assumptions in life to just keep going forward. We can't fully understand.
What will never make sense to me is publicly commenting it. But
that's true.
A whole different...
So she just said, what will never make sense to me is people publicly commenting. Why won't it make sense to you? You make your entire living off people publicly commenting on your content. Then shut off your comments if you don't want to hear anything. But they won't do that because they will make less money. What do you mean? You'll never understand. Have you ever made a public comment on YouTube or on TikTok about somebody? Yes. What do you mean you'll never understand? It's literally your industry that you're in that pays you millions of dollars. What?
That's true, exactly.
What? What do you mean that's true?
Do it,
no.
Right?
Yeah.
Some people like to be vocal with their thoughts, and so they're vocalizing that thought. They're making an assumption because we all make assumptions all the time.
Right.
And but you just can't let it get you down. And unfortunately, like
you let it get you down.
While I wish I could read every single comment from people. You know, sometimes you just have to not look at comments because you need to just make sure your mental health is preserved. And
if you have to not read the comments from the content that you create because it's going to preserve your mental health, reconsider the content that you're putting on the internet. That's all I'm going to say. Cool.
Not saying at all that we are like celebrities, but I know that celebrities like probably won't even read the news to make sure that their mental health is okay. And
I doubt they read the magazines at the grocery store.
They probably don't read the magazines at the grocery store. But I know for us, like our version of that would, as creators, would be we might just need to take a break from reading the comments for a little bit.
Whatever. Okay, so there it is. I mean, relatively tame, They're coming to some realizations, and they got a lot of work to do. And I'm glad that they do this. I really, really am. I'm glad that they're making this choice to not show their kid. But if you go to their channel, 5 million subscribers these guys have. Holy shnikes. Okay? And their most popular video on their channel is our birth story, first child. They're not going to let that go. It's got 5 million views on it. Telling my family I'm pregnant, finding out I'm pregnant, official gender reveal. Again, all that stuff is like relatively cool, but then don't show the kid after. That's all I'm asking. Right? All their top content is baby content. And there's the day in the life of a newborn. It's literally their baby. They're not going to take this content. She's pumping her boobs. They're not going to take that stuff down. Right? But it's going to be interesting to see what goes forward. And you got to give them kudos. They're making choices that based on reality. And they're seeing that, because here's the scary part. There are so many people who know exactly what they're talking about in this industry who don't care. And are like, oh, well, it is what it is. Predators will be predators. And they'll keep doing it even though they know or have even experienced this. Some of them to the degree where it's super scary, and they'll continue to do it. Right? There's so many things you have not heard about family vlogs out there because they will not tell you. But if you were told about the truth, you would be like, I am never watching this ever again. Right? And once that did happen to some of these people, they should have never put their kids back on that. When something dangerous happens, like I fell off my scooter, right? And I don't remember it. And it was, to this day, it plagues me. It's been 2 months. I still can't sleep on my lap. I'm still injured. I can't sneeze. My collarbone, my shoulder, everything's hurt. Okay? I didn't wear a helmet because I'm an idiot. Do you think that I'll ever make that mistake again? No. I am like the biggest advocate for helmets now. For everybody, helmet when you're walking down the street. Okay? I'm just saying helmets. I went and bought helmets. I got extra helmets for people who want to ride scooters with me. Helmets galore. Okay? So if you know that something has happened to you, and a lot of them have had lots of dangerous things happen to them, approach them in public or whatever the case may be, or approach their kids in DMs and all this, it has happened. And the fact that they don't change it should tell you everything. These people might not even have had anything dangerous happen, but they see the writing on the wall and they've made changes. So kudos, but you got a lot of work to do. Stop platforming people who do that too. If you think it's not okay, then stop platforming who think it is okay. Right? Become the advocate against it by proving that you can do it without exploiting your kids. That would make your message powerful and make you guys awesome. But again, I know you won't do that, but I shall give you kudos now for absolutely recognizing and making changes, because in the latest videos on their channel, they're saying throwing our son's first birthday, kid's face is covered in the thumbnail. Awesome, right? Trying to walk, kids walking that way. They're not showing the baby. So, okay, they are making the changes so they do get to have a little bit of a high five. Digital high five, a little bit. Like I went up for it, but then I took it back, you know, because they do have a lot of work to do. And I'd like to see them be successful without their kids. And then if they take all those videos down with their children, again, I will stick to my promise and I will remove all my videos about them. I've always said I'll do it, and I will. Take a deep breath. You are so cool and awesome and valuable and amazing and incredible. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for taking deep breaths with me. We like those deep breaths. You are a deep breath of awesome. And you know what? I don't say this enough, but you guys are my therapy. I get to put all these feelings and these emotions and these things in my head on the internet, and we all get to talk about them and have fun and laugh and be serious and be angry and be thoughtful and all these things because you guys make it possible. I like comments. Good, bad, and ugly. I know why you make the comments. I curate my content so that I will get comments. These people are dumb for saying that. But you're not dumb. And I'll see you when I see you.